That's the really cool thing about these events, is that you're going to get to showcase what you do.
To build self-confidence.
And then to just inspire one another and potentially collaborate.
You branch out a little bit more, learn a little bit more.
To help me start my career as an artist.
The experience of writing a song is extremely exhilarating. I mean, I often say, like, it's like my little joke when I get on stage sometimes. It's like, I'm one of the luckiest people in the world, because I get to, like, for a living, I get to just get up on stage and yell at people. And it's true, like, you get to just get up and sing. Brighter than the sunshine, living in this eye. Than the sunshine. In the eastern townships and in a lot of, I think, rural environments, you kind of get this like home crowd environment. Like you get this home crowd, hometown advantage, and people kind of, they back you and they look out for you and they get you gigs in certain ways. In Montreal and out here in Foster, which is, he played at Carnegie Hall. He was a fabulous piano player. He actually sold the property to my parents. It was right in that middle area. He lived in a apartment to
The feelings I feel when I'm painting depend a lot on what I'm painting. So if I'm nervous or excited, anxious, I'll work on a painting that has a little bit more energy involved. So if it's got crashing waves in the background or horses running forward, I'll paint a painting like that when I'm in that type of mood. If I'm calm or tired, I'll usually go on something that's a little bit more serene, more calming. It's amazing to be able to paint in my own studio. I can paint whatever scale that I want. I can paint anywhere that I want. It's nice being close to my daughter. She tends to join me quite a bit of the time and help paint, sometimes better than others. I'll usually put down a little canvas for her to paint beside me sometimes, and she really loves that. Go with your hands up. Everyone has their own opinion about beauty. For me, horses are beautiful, cows are beautiful. I know them so well, I could paint them with my eyes closed. I see beauty in them. The way that they walk, the way that they stand still, the way that their hair bends in the wind. I see beauty in every movement, every step they take, the way the ground shakes when they run. I see every little detail, and for me, that's beautiful. Each animal has their own personality, each one has their own character. A lot of people don't realize that, but one calf is completely different from another. One could be calm and very quiet, and the other one could be completely crazy and quirky, and they walk down the barn and one will just give a random side kick and you just can't help but laugh, whereas the other one just looking at it sideways, and they're almost like people.
Upcycling is taking a pre-loved material that is perhaps underused and giving it a new life or a new purpose entirely. So you're upscaling it, you're giving it a higher value and a new life. Sometimes the tiniest little notion will grab my attention when I'm hunting for treasures, and I don't know whether it was because I was a puppy in another life and that little thing in the corner of my eye grabs me, or just because some of these things are so precious little treasures that can be highlighted in a garment or a jewelry accessory, that somebody would just walk by, like that spare earring, a little thimble, or something chippy, or, you know, just somebody must have really loved this garment and it's a bit of a misfit. I'm very inspired by my fellow artists and my family. My grandmother and my mother used to make my little wee Barbie clothes and my Halloween costumes and teach me how to paint Easter eggs and use watercolor. I'm constantly inspired by the people who surround me, the people in my community who create things that I love to purchase and wear and are excited to take my things home. So it's very rewarding. Everyone seems to strike me. I take little mental notes wherever I go. My fiance is remarkable, whether he's helping me to prepare for shows, and then when we can just sort of disconnect, have a picnic, go for walks, and hang out with our little pup Toby.
When I was a kid, I used to travel to the States every year. My mom is the eldest of her family, and she moved from Haiti to Canada. And all the rest of my family moved in the States. So I used to travel to Brooklyn, New York, like 4 or 5 times a year, and stay there all summer and stuff. And that was like basically one of my first touch into graffiti, which made me become who I am. I was really amazed by the visual that it created, the fact, trying to like figure out how these kids were able to paint on an illegal surface, but that big, and be able to do something really nice out of like what people think it's not beautiful. I believe also that you never stop learning. So if I draw, or when I'll draw till I'm 80, 90 years old, I'm still going to be learning every day. And that's the beauty of life, and being able to create stuff and art and objects and beauty out of thin air, basically. You have to learn how to let your paper rest, or play with it when it's dry, or play with it when it's humid, and your environment when it's dry or when it's humid, your paper dries different ways. So learn to maybe like be multitasking. So having a lot of different drawings, and having a lot of different drawing makes your mind also jump from one thing to another and not focus too much. So that way you're able to see what you could do while the other thing is drawing. You're like, oh, okay, maybe this is gonna be working if I try this. Okay, should I don't know. Okay, let me go get a glass of water and I'll think about it, so yeah.
The Big Blue Hug is the drawing that started it all. Ellis was stalling before going to bed, and he was an expert at stalling before going to bed. And at some point I decided that I wasn't going to listen to all of his requests for water or bathroom or whatever. And so I started ignoring him. Ellis had one more request before going to bed, and it turns out that he wanted a hug before bedtime. And I didn't know this because I wasn't listening to him anymore. Enough was enough. So Ellis went to the chalkboard, grabbed a chalk and started drawing a picture and pointed at it and said hug. And then I melted, and that's where the Big Blue Hug came from. The thing that makes it most beautiful is the story. With me, in my case, with my art, it's the story. In art in general, it needs to connect with people. I never connected with art that you needed a degree to understand. So it's not about autism at all, it's really about people. And I have people who look at the art and just burst out crying right away. It's common for people to have physiological responses after seeing the art and hearing my story, and that's I do that on purpose. The arts have been created to create that response in people because that's the response I had when Ellis started drawing to me. He was showing me, oh, look, I'm at this level, I'm at this level, I'm at this level. The guidance that Yes has provided with us, I've been doing this for a long time, but I've already learned a few things that I hadn't even thought of before, and I'm going to integrate into my next shows. So I'm very grateful for that.
Okay, so you're taking all your stuff and you're going where?
And I look forward to the networking. It's going to be wonderful networking with a segment of the people from the community that I haven't really reached out to.
And warm socks, so.
Yeah, that's good. It's important to do that.
Well, because I'm totally conflicted as to what was happening.
I really look forward to dressing up and being in a really beautiful environment.